Hello and welcome back to the Fantasy Cricket Coach. This week we're looking at the week overview from Gameweek 1 and some more of my transfer plans for this upcoming week. Overall, I'm very happy with this week. Can't really ask for much more than top 3% in the first week, so that's pretty good. Nice to see that the sort of over-analysis and stressing about each pick was worth it in the end. So let's see how my team did. Starting off with Rob Yates, 355 points. I'm super happy with him. 180 runs and 3 wickets. I sort of picked him for being a bit of an all-rounder, and that really paid off. And I think that really shows the value of all-rounders. If they can pick up points with both bat and ball, that's really good. So a really strong start from him. Hopefully he kicks on, and I'm really happy with his first week. Moving on, we've got Keaton Jennings, 164 points. He got 104 runs. It's not too bad. It's a shame he didn't kick on in either innings. He sort of built starts in both innings. I think he'll do better in other weeks. Maybe just a bit unfortunate this week. So I'm going to keep him around, but I not the biggest score this week, but 164 points, can't complain too much. Kieran Coulson, to be honest, he was sort of on the cutting block for me, and then he got a very good century in that second innings and ended up with 138 runs, 204 points. So the only problem there is he didn't bowl at all, even though Leicestershire batted for 118 overs. He didn't get a single over in that. So I think I'll keep him for another one because obviously he hit a century and it's hard to move someone on after that. And maybe he'll bowl next week, who knows. But I'm sort of thinking about changing him and maybe moving on to someone else. So we'll see how he goes. In the all-rounders position, we've got Joey Everson, 109 points. He was run out by Mayeye in the first innings, which was harsh. And then, only 52 runs overall. And he didn't actually bowl too much either. So I think he could definitely be moved on. It's only been 1 week, so I think maybe there's a better opportunity next week at home. So I think I might keep him for another one. And hopefully he can score some more points, but slightly disappointed there. Moving on, we've got Ed Barnard, 208 points. He had Bamber at the other end at the start, picking up lots of wickets, but he kept it pretty tight. Opened the bowling in the second innings and hit 82 runs with the bat, batting at 6, which is pretty good value. I definitely think he'll get more points in the future, but it's a really good start, and I'm really happy with the way he started. So hopefully he can kick on and keep producing performances like that. Ryan Higgins, 127 points, doubled to 254 as my captain. He took the new ball, which was nice to see. I picked up Jennings, which is a bit of a slight 50-50 win. He got 4 maidens back-to-back in a very good spell, which is nice. So 56 runs and 1 wicket, and yet still only 127 points. And I think last week I spoke about that high floor, and I think that's why he's such a good captain. Even though he's not had an outstanding week, he's only 56 runs and 1 wicket, and yet he still picks up 127 points. And that's still that's why he's such a good captaincy option. You're not going to get a complete blank of 10, 20 points from him. He's always going to do something, which is nice. Finally, closing out the all-rounders, we've got Archie Vaughan. Slightly disappointed by him. 12 runs, obviously only batted once because of the incredible Somerset innings. And he bowled 50 overs in the second innings and only picked up 1 wicket. And even though it was a big one, it doesn't get any more fantasy points. So, the 14 maidens in the spell was pretty nice, and that helped out with the points. But he might have to go. He's a pretty cheap option, but I think I've got some good transfer plans later that might involve him moving out. But it's unfortunate. I think he could go on to do very well too. So there's a chance he sticks around. Wicketkeeper Bracey, probably the most disappointing performance of the week. Only 57 runs and only 2 catches as well. I really thought he was going to hit the ground running, and he might well be my other transfer out this week. I really thought he was going to start with a lot more than that. There's a couple of exciting wicket keepers coming into the competition too, so he might have to go, but we'll get on to that later. Opening up with the bowlers, we've got Ben Code, 45 points. He got a duck, but obviously that's not any minus points. He only got 1 wicket in a fairly low-scoring game, which is unfortunate. He's a good player though, so I don't think that will happen very often. I think I'll give him another week and sort of see how he goes. Similar to Sam Cook as well, 77 points. Only 2 wickets, but that won't happen every week because they're such good players. They're going to pick up wickets. They're going to do much better than they have this week. Also, Cook faced Surrey this week. They have a very good, very strong batting lineup. So hopefully he's a bit better next week against Notts. So we'll see about that. And then closing it out, Fergus O'Neill with 289 points, a class pick. He was the highlight of the week. At only 3% ownership, he picking up a 5-fer and a 3-fer was very good differential points for me. He's not going anywhere for now, and hopefully he can replicate that, because that's really where the points make a big difference and boost your rank for players like that. So I'm really happy with that. Okay, moving on, we're going to look at some of the highlights of the week. Who did really well this week? Who should you keep an eye on? Opening up with Colin Ackerman, he scored a century in both innings and picked up a wicket. So it's definitely one to keep an eye on that all-rounder slot. And he could do really well for Durham, picking up a lot of points. We've got Lewis Reese, 10 wickets in the match, opens the bowling and bats at 6, so potentially a very high upside there. Another all-rounder to keep an eye on. And then closing out, obviously, has to be Tom Banton, a whopping 500 points and 371 runs. I mean, props if you captained him or even just had him in your team. It's a hell of an innings. And if you're looking for a new batter this week, he's a fantastic option, clearly in a little bit of form. So moving on to my transfer plans, this is where I'm thinking about going this week. So first of all, I think Ian Holland. He opened both the batting and the bowling for Leicestershire. Absolute value there. 7 wickets and 7 runs. If he can score some with the bat, that turns into a huge score. He could be really good for fantasy points this year. I also have the perfect budget to bring him in for Vaughan, which would leave me 0.1 million in the bank. So that could be good. Or even maybe for Joey Everson to save some budget, depending on some of my other moves. So we'll have to see about that. But I think Ian Holland looks like a really good option, who's going to be involved in the game a lot. A bowler I'm looking at is Keith Dudgeon. He bowled really well for Kent and picked up 8 wickets. I'm not sure I'm going to bring him in because I think I want to give my bowlers an extra week, but definitely a person to keep an eye on and could become very good for fantasy if he can stay consistent. With picking up 8 a week would be amazing. Closing out, Carl Verena. He averages over 50 in first-class cricket. He's got a century 2 weeks against South Africa. He did really, really well when he was in this competition at the end of last year, and hopefully he just continue that way. He's playing in the not side this week, so I need to double check that. He might not be in the squad this week, so I'll keep an eye on that. But I'm really hoping he is, and he will be playing. So yeah, overall, just considering within an hour and a quarter after lunch on day one, I lost Carlson, Everson, Higgins, Bracey, and Vaughan. I'm pretty happy with this week. I had Weatherall on the bench for a 171 pointer, but I'm not going to really play him over the likes of Code and Cook. So that's just kind of the way things go sometimes. But if I can put up 1,867 points without Code and Cook firing, then I can be pretty happy. Can't ask for much more than in the top 3% overall, and hoping to kick on from there. So yeah, I'll be back later in the week for my team selection video and the game week preview. So stay tuned for that, and I'll catch you all soon. Thanks for watching.